Oh, no, it broke Dave.
Okay,
almost everything worked. It was minimized. It was my fault. Welcome to the Team Objection Podcast for January 23rd, 2024, episode 607, and my ongoing quest to make this studio the best it can be continues, where I'm now in a completely different room. Hello,
I'm
hi.
back in the closet. That's what this is like.
You record from the closet?
Yeah, we just talked about this. I was in the closet.
I haven't talked about this.
Both because it was kind of like a little audio studio, but then also so I could be isolated.
It was literally 600 episodes ago that happened. Literally 600 episodes.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's why during COVID you did it from the closet. I'm like, why would you do that?
No. No, by COVID we were all like in a.
You fucking live here, so why would it matter?
We were in a nice studio by the time COVID was. Before that, we were like crunched on like two little couches in a tiny little room, which was still much better than what we had previously.
You know, those couches looked bad, but they were sure comfortable.
Oh yeah, no, they were very comfortable. But like I remember Michelle was next to me, and she was like, we had no space at all.
Mm-hmm.
I remember using the old Yeti mic in like episodes 50 or so, and when we all recorded together, we were hunched over and basically making out with each other while we were talking to make sure we could actually hear ourselves. So
I was fine with that.
You just sit that close to Sean as he yelled into your ear.
That was maybe my preference, in fact.
It was.
Because you could talk over everyone?
No, because we were like making out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Sean enjoys physical contact, is what he's saying.
Clearly.
Yeah.
You know, as he's isolated over here by himself now. He's really upset.
Dave is the biggest physical contact person, though. Dave's he likes hugs.
He has children. You have to have physical contact when you have children.
But not just with the children. In general.
Yeah, it leads one thing to another.
I'm just saying, like, he's a hugger. He's a affirmation patter.
How many times has he patted you on the butt after you made a good shot?
Not on the butt, usually. I don't think you're not a butt.
Yeah, we like high fives.
A slap in the back and high five.
Yeah.
All right.
Or no, actually it's more of a chest pound. I'll do like that to you type of thing as you run by.
Yeah, he will do that. He also will just like out of nowhere shoulder massage sometimes.
That is true.
And you're like, oh, that's weird. It's not weird at all. It's glorious. It's amazing. Like, I'm like, if you could not stop.
At the first moment, you're like, what's going on? You're like, oh, hello.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm not like, what's going on? I'm like, finally. Finally. What a show we have for you today.
Yes. And real quick, before we jump into it, Maisie says, I'm late, but Dave is not frozen. Yes. And please let us know if everybody sounds good. We should. I actually had time to test everything beforehand, so thank you to Dave for that. But everybody should have working cameras. I'm in my own room now, but it's fine.
Oh, dear. I was talking about Maisie massaging me. Dave's massaging me, and Maisie's listening.
She's listening in.
Oh, no.
And she's like totally fine with it.
She actually is totally fine with it. Yeah.
And eventually, I'm going to retool everything. Like, I've already been changing things piece by piece, but the goal is to build a brand new overall look for this, and maybe we might even rebrand. We'll see. If Sean ever chimes in on that thread, we might go somewhere with it.
Oh, we have a rebranding thread? I thought that thread was just like, what are we doing next episode?
Right.
I'm like, I don't care.
He asked multiple questions for this, and you ignored all of them.
I would love to rebrand more than anything, in fact.
It feels like it's time. And we'll talk about it more when it happens, but let's just, for a little bit of context for the viewer, we started in 2011 at the Buzzer, well documented. We had cute, like, at the Buzzer on Twitter. That was cool. It wasn't, but we thought we were clever. Everything had the buzz in it, like, you know, buzz off, buzz in, whatever. Then it was Objection Network in 2017, but the problem with that is that that's 16 characters. That doesn't fit in a Twitter handle. So we had the at Team Objection, and that's why this podcast is called what it is, and all of it is not very good.
SEO, what we talk about, the spirit of the show, just none of it. The fact that the person spearheading it died, a lot of problems, really. Yeah.
But Cody might be a more permanent member going forward. I might even redo the intro, depending on how we rebrand this and what it looks like.
Isn't that just terrifying?
I'm so excited for this rebrand. It actually feels like it's my idea all of a sudden.
It may have been.
So that's pretty cool. I like how that works.
So that's why a lot of this has just been piecemeal week to week. You know, Dave's thing was a different issue. It wasn't connected to all this, but just trying to fix all this. I need to actually put up a photo of what this all looks like now, because it's two different rooms. It's a whole thing. Doug helped quite a bit with it, so shout outs to him. But the point is, like, it's a new year. It's supposed to be new year, new you. So we just finished with all the past stuff. The last 2 weeks we did our best of 2023. It's one of our favorite sets of episodes. Now this week, before we finally move on from about 4 months of programmed content, is our last scheduled episode. It's now look ahead to 2024, movies, TV, video games, what stands out, and even stuff outside of that. Could be life stuff, could be sports. Like there's other things too, but just coming up this year, what's big and what's in our world?
I think we should start with games because I have a thing. Cody, this is what I was telling you. So basically, Cody and I sometimes will do a thing where we'll just pull up movies and we'll just, after the show, just go through them and be like, what do you think? What are your thoughts? And I was like, we're just going to do that, but for the podcast. So I pulled up every movie I promise that any of us could possibly be interested in. It's not everything, but there is no way you have something on this list that I have not saved. I probably have way more than...
I want to see if there's like 3 I singled out for this year.
Yeah,
I have. You're gonna have all 3 of them.
I have one of them for.
I already know you have one of them.
I think I have 2 of them because I have the Batman, a fucking guy, Robert Pattinson. I have his movie too.
Yeah, you have those 2 that we talked about
2
last week, but you have the 3rd one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We're gonna find out. So I think start with games, especially because Dave's never heard of Pal World. Spoilers,
which is amazing because I don't know where you're living.
We might as well just jump into it.
To be fair,
you're gonna need to know what this is.
He didn't know what it was, and then he was going to Google it, and I told him not to. So it's not 100% his fault, but it's still like 60% his fault. It's everywhere. Fucking Pal World.
Where? When you say everywhere, what do you mean everywhere?
It's literally everywhere. So
it's everywhere.
Let me back up really quick before we launch into Pal World, because what we're doing is we're going to go over all the games that we're excited to play in the next year. Pal World, actually, for me, is one of them. I think it sounds fucking so funny. So Dave, Pokemon with guns is it's like if you combine a survival game like Grounded or like Valheim with guns and Pokemon who will be your slave labor for base building, who you can kill and eat, and some people might not like this. I found out you can actually toggle the settings for their hard labor. And you can put it from like normal to like cruel. Cruel is the name of the setting for their hard labor, or brutal. And then their sanity gets depleted and they just die.
Here's the thing. Before Sean goes too much further, I want to chime in with when he says it's Pokemon with guns, they AI generated and stole so many versions of Pokemon into this game, and somehow it was legal. I don't know how.
Yeah.
That's one of my questions that I said I have for this fucking game is how is this possible?
Dave is so horrified by this prospect, he's gone.
No.
He just disappeared because basically what you described, Sean, was a serial killer's like wet dream where you're like, oh man, I can torture small animals. Oh my God.
Is that a bad thing that Sean and I both want to play it?
It's not torture small animals. It's using them to get what you want. This is different.
I want to murder other people who train these Pokemon.
Yeah, apparently you can catch humans too. I read that article the other day. So it's great. It's like an open world.
To be fair, it's like GTA Pokemon, if you ask me. That's pretty much what I look at it as.
Now, it's not without some controversy, Dave, because
Really? I'm shocked.
Pokemon with guns, but like they actually did a breakdown of like they would show actual Pokemon, and then this is great, Chris, and then they would show the Power World version, and you see like the pieces they've like circled it on the Pokemon where just like wholesale they brought over like a neck or a hair piece or like paws, and it's so obvious. Not just like kind of generally looking at it, but like that thing's a fucking Leafeon, right in the top right corner. That's a Leafeon. So there's a little bit of controversy. Pokemon fans are angry, which I think is funny because they will let Pokemon, whatever the last one, they'll let that slide. Violet and whatever. But this is too much.
We have to have.
Kidding.
We can't. I was gonna say, don't. I know you're not being serious about this, but don't. We don't want to add to that part of this discussion because this is 2 very distinct and different issues. One of which is that Game Freak has been mailing it in for Pokemon for a decade, and another of which is Pal World is ripping them off and stealing someone else's intellectual property. And some people, because they're stupid, are conflating the 2 unironically. Like Nintendo deserves this, or it's okay because Nintendo has mailed it in. And let's be very clear. No, it is not. And we know that's the case because today, as we were talking about doing this for the episode, Nintendo sued the person who sent a cease and desist and took down the video with copyright strikes of somebody who modded actual Pokemon elements into Power World. So the person running around is Ash, and the Pokemon are Pokemon and not just ripoffs. And Nintendo's like, okay, obviously, no, because those are clearly ours. They're just exactly ours.
Chris, how do I send you this tweet that has the side-by-side comparisons of them?
Yeah.
You can text it to me. I
I've
can
text it to you.
pull it up
Okay.
that
I've seen
way.
that too, Cody. It's
Yeah, I was
great.
like,
Yeah.
I had pulled this up, and I had every intention of assuming we got to this point of showing this off. 'Cause
Fucking the Lucario is just like an Egyptian Lucario. It's like an evolution.
They've already taken the Luxray out of the game because it's that close,
Yeah.
and they're scared. And to be clear, there's been no proof yet that any of this has actually been AI generated or stolen. People have looked into the 3D models and found a lot of similarities, and it's hard to deny that even if it wasn't directly stolen, it was clearly either traced or heavily influenced by, because if you're denying that, you're being oblivious. But it's important to stress at this moment, there is no proof, because I feel like if there was, Nintendo would have already struck this down. I will also say, people are like, well, why hasn't Nintendo done anything? They must not have a leg to stand on. It's been 4 days, and Nintendo's going to make sure they have their ducks in a row in a lawsuit before they just go charging headfirst into this. I'm not saying that guarantees it will happen, but silence for 4 days as they look into what the hell's going on does not indicate that they're not going to do anything.
Yeah, it's potentially like a watershed moment for the gaming industry too, because it goes back to what I said about Lies of P a little bit, where it's like, this is just Bloodborne. How can they do this? If this lawsuit maybe sets a precedent, now the copying here so much more terrible and obvious than in that. But it's like, if you just take a game and you copy all their mechanics and all their visuals and all their sound effects, like at what point is that like homage, and at what point is that just ripping it off?
So to address Dave's earlier point, like how have you not heard of this? To be fair, if you're not really on social media and you're not
Or
really
the
in gaming
internet.
circles, however, they had 1.5 million concurrent players yesterday. That's the second most of any game ever on Steam. So, like, a ton of people have been playing this in the last 4 days. So, like, I'm not saying Dave's under a rock or anything, but, like, this is not like a niche case or something. This game has blown up huge in the last 4 days.
Dave's not under a rock. He's under the dirt that's under the rock. And actually, Chris, I don't know when I looked this up. 5 million copies were sold, and it's probably a lot more now, which is I guess the same or more than the Last of Us remaster, Last of Us 2 remaster.
Yeah, I really was like, it's like Call of Duty numbers, more or less, I believe. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, that's obviously one of the biggest games that normally comes out each year for the general boring person that plays video games. And they're matching that basically immediately.
I'm definitely gonna play it. I have to try it. I kind of wish it wasn't so, like, Temtem is Pokemon ripoff, and yet they didn't wholesale copy over pieces, at least for the most part. So, like, that's fine. I would have rather had something like that than, like, legit just straight up copying, because I think it's getting in the way of some really hilarious, potentially really fun ideas.
What's interesting about this is that it circles us back to the other half of this, which is the Game Freak resting on their laurels part. A true competitor to Pokemon would be a good thing because it would force them to innovate. It would force them to revitalize the series. Is this going to be what does it if it ends up being found out that this is just ripped off? I don't know, but I guess we'll see, huh?
Yep.
I'm going to try and pull up the thread real quick. I did have the thought, there's too much else going on today. It was a miracle I was able to get all this done in time, but like at one point I really wanted to make it so that it was like we would put them side by side and see if Dave could guess the Pokemon, because Dave actually knows a little bit about it now because his son's getting into it. So I thought maybe like, oh, well then for sure we can do this, and then like Dave we'll see how many he gets right, and it's like, well, we're not going to do that. But
God, what if Dave accidentally bought his kid's Power World instead of Pokemon, and they're like his Pikachu's dropping dead from...
I can read, okay? I can read.
Yeah, but you see one
Palamon?
Pokemon,
Oh, okay,
you're
that sounds good.
Weird. Must be a rebranding.
So, Chris, as I mentioned before we went on to the show, the only way I can play this game is by downloading off of Game Pass because I only have an Xbox and I don't have Steam and all that stuff. It's going to work. Chris immediately said no. And I'm aware that it's very glitchy and buggy. I saw some already got patched today, but I'm imagining it's probably really terrible.
I'm trying to get this thing to scroll, but I can't because I'm not logged in this browser, so there's no other replies to it. It's a whole thing. I'll work on my web browser integration in the future.
We'll zoom
as
into
host
the
of
little
show.
sheep right there. I could see it.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm waiting for Dave to like respond, and he wants
He's taking it all in.
but like his face is just consternation.
It's more of the fact of I find it funny that you talk about how I live under a rock, and I am on X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it, frequently, and there's just nothing that has been mentioned in the things that I follow. And there's many different gaming people that I follow on there, so it's just odd.
Blame the algorithm that X now has of it being dog shit, and it's just giving you the same tweets over and over again.
Blame Elon. That's always what people
Identical.
do, right?
Identical sheep.
Our
kinda.
podcast viewer, our listeners can't see, obviously, but like Pokemon on the right, Power World on the left. Now, on the one hand, you could say, well, Nintendo doesn't own the rights to a sheep, which, yeah, I mean, a lot of the basic Pokemon designs are modeled after animals. There's no denying that. Some of them are really basic, like Vulpix is just, a fox with tails and fire. But then you look at the ones on the right here, on the zoom in.
That maybe is the best example, actually.
Where it's like, okay, this is not the same, and yet you look at individual elements and you're like, it pretty much is, and this neck collar thing is ripping off a different Pokemon.
Yep. So you have the feet.
They have the same like pseudo shorts with the same like fringes on the edges of the shorts and the same anatomy and the same ears and you're like, okay, again, we just joked last week about the meme where Sean, you were describing another like what was it? It's not Dark Souls. That's
Liza P. P.
Yeah, so you were just mentioned it earlier. It's the same idea here where it's like, if you're going to copy the homework, don't make it so obvious that you've copied. Because look at these.
Here's my question.
Look at these next set down here.
If we had Alolan variants of the Pokemon who are ripped off on this list, would you believe that the other version next to them is close enough to what fucking Pokemon would actually make?
Yeah.
Because that could be an Alolan grass-typed score bunny, whatever the fuck it's called.
If we were to give these to Dave, he'd have no fucking clue what's what. No, and that's no offense, Dave. You haven't kept up with Pokemon. These are the same thing.
Yeah.
Look at the wizard one. It's like
the wizard's the same, and then like the smile and the eyes on the Galarian Meowth and whatever the hell the PAL equivalent is. You're like, those are identical. What are you doing?
Yep.
So it's frustrating.
It's just funny that this company has kind of said, all right, we're putting this thing out, then we're going to make a lot of noise by basically just copying, and let's see how far we get. It's kind of an all or nothing move on their part, because I was reading a little bit about it just now. It's an independent company in Tokyo that's basically like, okay, we made this thing. I feel like they're going to either make it big or just get shut down and fucked over, because
they're all going to bail to the Cayman Islands and go hide with the money they made really quickly and then just disappear forever.
That's what I would do. That'd be awesome.
And for some added context, this developer has previously made a suspiciously very similar to Breath of the Wild game, including like ripping off UI elements and the staging of certain scenes in the game, like when he walks up to a cliff, like in the very first Breath of the Wild, and you're like, oh, that just looks, it's like beat for beat. You've clearly just taken this to the point where it's like, where is the line between inspiration and plagiarism? This developer also made a game that was like AI drawing based. Like you were helping guide AI to make art, and you're like, well, that's on the nose, isn't it? Like the leader of the company supports it. And yet with all of this, you still can't really accuse Power World of anything. Maybe Nintendo will once they've gathered enough ammunition, but as of this moment, they're clearly scratching an itch in the gaming industry. It is a little bit sad to occasionally see people that are like, well, whatever, it's fun, so now I don't care about AI infringing on artists or other people's work. And it's like, well, no, you got to stand on that hill whether you like the game or not.
Yep.
It's true. And I don't, this almost leads to a bigger thing of where I don't like the idea of, well, I don't like the person, so I don't care what happens, even if it's morally wrong. It's like, well, no, like you can not like a individual or person or a company or something like that, but when there's injustice in a way, you shouldn't stand for it. This is minor and I'm kind of blowing it up a little bit, but still, like if it's plagiarism, then it's plagiarism. I don't care if you don't like the most recent Pokemon versions or if they've been lazy.
But Dave, it's Pokemon with guns.
Oh, okay. Well, then that fixes it. So
I can walk up and shoot a Pokemon. Come on.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. It wasn't making them work, Pokemon long for the mines. It wasn't any of that. It was when you caught the other trainers or whatever they are in a ball where I was like, okay, now I'm interested.
I just appreciated reading this on Wikipedia just now and saying players directly engage in combat with pals in order to weaken them and capture them using pal spheres. It's like, oh, you mean Pokeballs?
No.
Right.
No. Legally distinct Pokeballs. Remember the game show episode where it was legally distinct Family Feud? Same idea. Definitely not just ripping off 95% of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, for one last bit of context, because we got to get to everything else coming out this year, but the person who put up the video of the mod they made with all the Pokemon assets was already stupid enough to put that out there, knowing how litigious Nintendo is. They put it behind a paid Discord, Patreon wall. So to get access to the mod, you had to pay. So now it's like, now you're charging people for direct theft of elements, and you think that's going to work for you? Like, come on, son.
That's a choice. Again, money, Cayman Islands. Just get the money and run as quickly as you
what an
possibly can.
entrepreneur.
The $15
he made was definitely worth anything else that's going to happen to him.
All right, so that we're not going to go that far into depth on all of these. Actually,
no.
Some of these are going to be very rapid fire.
And Power wouldn't have been on my list until 3 days ago when I went, oh, wow, this does look interesting. Oh, but it's got flaws. Oh, can I actually play this in good conscience? Oh, it's weird.
Yeah. Yep. I'm wearing this shirt, by the way, Final Fantasy, because it might be the best game of next year. And I think that maybe is not a great sign. It's nothing against Final Fantasy. I don't think we're awaiting anywhere close to a year next year as we had this year.
No.
It kind of seems like a down year. But Final Fantasy VII Part 2, Dave, I think you said you're waiting until it's all over to pick it up.
Not necessarily, but it is interesting. They're doing like a trilogy, right? This, if I remember properly. Yeah, it's odd that you're kind of turning one game into 3, but I mean, it's intriguing enough that I will play it sometime.
It does make sense to a certain extent, if for no other reason than the original was 4 discs, and let's be honest, disc 4 was kind of a joke. I mean, it was really 3 discs and then the spillover. So, like, from that perspective, it makes sense. They're not breaking it up in a similar manner. I might also play this. I intend to eventually. I was also thinking about waiting until it was done. I'm at the point now where, especially because the first part is going to be here free on PlayStation Plus, I think, next month, it's tempting to just go through the first one in time to play the second one and then wait for the third. Because at least now it's like, okay, it's not going to be one of those projects that gets delayed inevitably or like skipped. I always get nervous with Nomura where it's like, well, is this actually going to ship or is it going to be 10 years? I don't know. It looks like they're going to be on track.
And I think it was only 3 discs even, wasn't it? You had...
No, you're right. Final Fantasy 7 was 3 discs. I think 9 was 4.
And it was 3 discs, and even then, the third disc was like nothing. So, Chris, I think even more to your point is like they're really stretching. But you know what? If they stretch the Midgard part to a full game,
right? They barely got out of that section, so they have a lot more to go to.
Yeah, now it's like, okay, I can actually buy. There's a lot of stuff after that. So, what's up, Dave?
Oh, I just was commenting of the fact of the third disc was basically, the Sephiroth fight and Chocobo fucking.
Yeah, and because the Sephiroth fight, you're like going through the whole galaxy, and that that's a lot of memory, over and over and over and over and over again.
And over.
Hades 2, I don't think we have to talk about it a lot. We've kind of already talked about it. Are we going to play it in beta? Are we not? It almost doesn't. It's not fair to say it comes out next year because it's only going to be early release, but
it won't be in Game of the Year contention.
Yeah.
So.
I'm excited.
I'm glad it's being worked on. I'm glad it's announced. I'm excited for it. It probably won't be out till next year.
Here's an interesting one. Persona 3 Reload.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really on the fence because I liked 3 okay, and I know they're making a bunch of upgrades to it, which is great. But I also think, we're being really Tartarus for me is the biggest issue. It's like I love the curated dungeons of 5. It was so well designed, and I don't know if I can go back to empty hallways.
We don't know a ton about Reload yet, which is odd because it comes out in a week and 2 days. Just in the sense of like, what exactly are we getting?
Yeah.
We know we're getting some quality of life stuff that 5 had. We know we're getting a big graphics overhaul. Like, I expect them to clean up some of the stuff that plagues 3 in retrospect. Like, I don't think we're going to get inverted social links, but maybe we will still. I don't know. So, like, I'm going to play it, especially because it's day 1 on Game Pass. It's the last thing I'm going to have Game Pass for, and then I'm going to cancel it. I'm excited to see it because I like 3 more than I think Sean does, and we'll see how many of these things really have been cleaned up. It's not going to be as good as 5, but if it's a much better 3, okay.
I hope they improve some of the social links because the only one I really liked was the guy who's dying. That was some good shit, and all the other ones I didn't care at all.
I remember right. This one, the battle system. This one was the AI basically controlled everybody else, and you controlled yourself. Is that right?
Yes.
It depends on which version, but yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that it's more along the lines of like the Persona 5.
That will be. I can almost guarantee that.
They have to, otherwise. And people, well, that's not the spirit of it. Well, then play the original.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing worse than being like 2 hours into a Tartarus run and then having one of your party members get confused and murder everybody else in the party and not having a single thing you could do about it. Like,
they
hands
already
off the
remade
controller.
it, and in the PSP version, you could have everybody control. You can control every person. So
Right.
Those people
But they're not
should-
really bringing in elements of that from any like a gameplay or plot perspective. I imagine some of those QOL stuff they will, but
Yeah.
like FemC doesn't exist. No female main character.
For a game, I think only Chris and I are going to care about. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. It's out already. I played it. It's really fun. It's really good. It's pretty complex for like combat, especially for just like a 2D side scroller. It's like a full-on fighting game. And the platforming, it reminds me of like the original Prince of Persia, where there's just like spikes everywhere and like all these like traps. I was like, we're kind of harkening back to where the series got started.
Mm-hmm. Really good reviews.
We have all graphical, unlimited graphic processing power of the PS5, and we're gonna go back to the style of the PlayStation. I love it.
I know.
That's the
I
new
mean, to be
hotness.
fair, that's kind of how Mario Wonder was in a way, where it's like, Mario Odyssey has these super realistic dinosaur and like all these great things it can do graphically. And what's one of the more fun games I played? Mario Wonder, which is a side-scrolling game.
Yeah.
So that's what I mentioned. I don't remember if it was on there or off, but as we get to the point where graphic fidelity doesn't matter anymore because everything looks lifelike, then it's going to be about what do you do with that art direction, not just points for how close it looks to real life.
And I love it's so bright, it's so colorful, especially on the OLED screen. So it's been fun so far. Rise of the Ronin. Here's one no one cares about. I'll skip through it. It's people who did Neo and Wolong. This is kind of like an open world one of those games. So it's like a Souls-like, but it's like also a Ghost of Tsushima. Seems really cool. No one fucking has probably even heard of it, so it's fine. Senua's Saga, Hellblade, Cody, anyone?
Nope.
All right, that's like a really big deal for Xbox. If you're still in the console wars, which let me urge you, please stop.
Please.
Don't be in it anymore.
Hold on, I just want to take a moment to recognize Sean, the Xbox fanboy of the group for the longest period of time.
Kind of.
No.
But I've owned a PlayStation. I really like the
You were for a
Xbox
while.
achievements, and I like achievements more than trophies, and I'll still die on that hill. But I was always like, oh, cool, I'm glad we get all these good games. Especially now they own on the consoles, it doesn't matter anymore.
So I was like, I got so much money, I can buy whatever the fuck I
Well,
want.
no, I'm just saying,
I don't have to pick a side anymore.
most people own all the consoles.
Rich people don't
or
have to
most
pick
of them.
sides. You can just buy everything. It's great.
Oh man! And for the long-time listeners, I love the fact that for the first 250 episodes, Dave's the rich guy. Fuck him! I hate him.
No. I was never just Xbox. I was always playing PlayStation.
Nah, you were pretty standard
I've
X.
always been agnostic. I'm like France. I'm neutral, you know? That's me. Everybody loves France.
I don't know if France has been neutral.
France is always neutral. Don't you know? France is neutral.
I think you picked the
That's
wrong
Sweden
country,
you're
but-
thinking of. France surrenders.
Now, I Googled it, and France is neutral. So,
Chris,
anyways,
please
that was-
include that trivia question the next time we have it and make it worth lots of points.
Okay. For
France
some reason,
is-
I thought you were going to say, like, please include that in the new intro. And I was like,
I wanted
okay.
to what you're say too, and I want it.
This is one of the only Xbox exclusives that's like scheduled.
Doug
So,
says Senua's Sacrifice was such an impressive visual game, by the way.
yeah, it was, and it was fun. It was weird because it was like mostly just a puzzle game. But it tells a really interesting story, and you don't exactly know like what's real or what's not. The music's really good too, so this should be fun. For kind of a weird game. Let's see. I'm gonna skip some because got like Skull and Bones. No one has any opinion on that. Star Wars Outlaws. Dave, do you care about Star Wars Outlaws? Where you're like a bounty hunter in the Star Wars world?
I mean, not much. I tried playing, the Jedi Outcast. I think is what was one of the more recent ones. They just had a second version come out recently. And
No, Fallen Order and Survivor.
Honor, yeah.
Outcast is like 20 years old.
Like the band.
But
Sorry.
did you play it?
Fallen Order, I played a little bit of. I didn't play very far into it.
Did you not like it?
Fine. It was fine. There was nothing wrong with it, but it didn't like grab me. Like, yeah, I gotta keep playing this type of thing, you know.
Fair.
So, again, nothing wrong with it. It was a perfectly fine game, but it didn't grab me. So, and I will say the thing I have the most fun with in Star Wars games is being able to use a lightsaber. And so, if I'm a bounty hunter and not being able to use a lightsaber, it's a strike against.
Sure. Well, anyway, Star Wars Outlaws, that's a game.
It is
Suicide Squad.
Finally.
As a game that no one cares about.
I care about.
You're the only one now.
I care
apparently,
about it.
because this game it's still on my radar. And every time I see a preview, people are like, "We hated it." I was like, "Damn, that's kind of."
I don't want to hate it. I want to like it.
Yeah.
You bitch at me because I don't play enough video games. The Arkham series of shit is one of the few things I've actually fucking
great.
played all of, and Raya even has played like all of. She fucking loves that game. So the idea to have a thing built on the same engine and then have like Harley Quinn as someone you can play as, appeals to me and my significant other, and I want to go get it. I also just needed to not fucking suck.
Right, and it's a live service game, so that's like in terms of not sucking. That's strike one
Real
right
bad
there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, Doug says Suicide Squad's probably dead on arrival, and it's unusual to see a game panned this much in the preview stage because there's a lot of times where there's these handshake agreements, right, where all the different review companies get access to this early copy, they get in good graces with a publisher. You don't usually see somebody come out this strongly against it. They may be like, well, it looks unpolished or it needs some work in this regard. There are outlets that are just like, this game sucks. And you're like, oh,
Cody,
that's
my
different.
concern is the Batman game. You played as fucking Batman.
Yes.
And so all your shit is Batman
stuff. Yes.
And so it's very like specialized.
Yes.
Now you're like your Harley Quinn or your King Shark or your Boomerang. It's like those are all very different play styles potentially. Yes. I'm afraid it's all just going to be homogenized
to where it's all generic.
Trash.
And there's no real organic feel to playing with each character and shit. Like King Shark should be super gigantic and powerful and all that type of shit. And Harley should be flipping around and dodging things. That's my worry too. It's like I want to try it and give it some time to see if they can fix some of the fuck ups to it.
Yeah.
And it might take months and months to a year. I want to like it. It's exactly the type of game I want to have.
I love Rocksteady. And I love their previous games. I really hope it's good.
Jason says there are no play styles. You say that, Sean, about them fighting the same, but I hear they all shoot guns, which is part of the problem.
Right.
The gross UI is part of the problem. The myriad currencies, which lends itself to a live service game, is part of the problem. It just sounds like a cash grab that's going to fail miserably.
Yeah.
See, I like the idea of me being able to walk around with King Shark and eat people. That's what I would like to do. I want to bite people in half like the actual Suicide Squad movie did. Not shoot a fucking gun with a giant shark.
And then they're even like, well, don't worry, there's Riddler trophies in there. And
I don't
I'm like,
fucking
cool.
care.
At first I was like, that's cool. And I was like, but without specialized abilities that they're going to test to get the trophies.
How are you getting it and when you're unlocking advances and Batman stuff?
In what way are you going to shoot the trophies? Basically what the game is. And I was like, I don't get it.
That's fair.
We'll see. It's weird. Like, it's the opposite of Prince of Persia. Prince of Persia was getting universally praised leading up to release. Like, oh wow, like this is a fresh, innovative spin. It's really fun to play, and this is getting killed. So we'll see.
See, I want a Rocksteady to do a Superman game, and they did a game where you kill Superman instead.
That's also what I want to do. I want to kill Superman.
Now, one person did a preview was like, I don't like that the superheroes are getting killed. I was like, that feels to me like that's your preference.
My dislike of Superman goes back so far. That sounds exactly like what I want to do. I want to kill Superman.
Yeah.
Like that
I love
sounds
the
wonderful.
Stories where the heroes go turnt for one reason or another, brainwashed, or they just turn evil. Actually, I like it when they turn evil. Brainwashing is kind of less interesting.
Well, evil-ish, but
yeah. So
Suicide Squad, by the way, known for its heroes surviving all the time and never having any violence.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I didn't like that person, but it seems like that game has a lot more flaws than that. Tekken 8, I'm interested. I like 3D fighters. It's rare. Chris, I'm even going to try out Street Fighter 6. Neither here nor there. I just wanted to let you know.
Is Tekken 8 the one I saw the trailer looks like they're in a fucking octagon like it's UFC at some point of it? I swear I saw a commercial. I thought it was Tekken because of the characters I saw in it.
It could be, but that would make you think it's like a really realistic fighter, and it's super not. You're like, there's like a bear, I think, that you can fight as, and like all these like weird characters.
Tekken 7.
I know the characters of Tekken. I know there's a bear.
Why would I know that? You know the characters of Tekken.
There's a Jaguar like that you fight.
Well, there's a Jaguar who's also a wrestler.
Well,
Jaguar
but it's just a Jaguar head.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever.
His name is King.
Yes, I know.
He does a lot of wrestling.
You think I
moves.
didn't spend so many quarters playing fucking Tekken 2 as the giant army guy?
Yeah, well,
I know, but then like I'll be like Black Myth Wukong.
I don't know what the fuck you just said.
Yeah, right, exactly. So
those are big
Tekken
differences.
7.
Those are massively different from one to the other.
7 was a big step forward, and they're bringing some of the best elements of that and hopefully refining it further. I'm not a big 3D fighting fan, but I'm excited for Tekken anyways because it's really 7 was great, especially the slowdown at the end of a round. So as one of the last strikes is coming in, just seeing two fighter like who's gonna hit first? Oh, it's slowing down. Like that was a really cool addition.
Yeah. But Black Myth Wukong, I keep hearing great things, except like I think IGN did this article about like it's coming from like a bunch of slave labor in China, and we should like blacklist the game.
So that's more ethically wrong than
I don't
AI
know.
stealing things.
Probably
I think,
worse than
right?
Power World. Yeah,
I think that's probably worse.
But that's the thing. I'm gonna throw this on here just for a day. Princess Peach Showtime.
It's funny. I've actually heard of this thanks to my kids, and that's really the only reason I've heard about it. I mean, it could be good in the sense of there's a lot of different things you can change around, and you can, there's a lot of different modes. Like you talk about play styles, there's a lot of different things you can do in it. I just don't know what the game's going to be about, and it seems like it's got could fall flat on its face. So
Probably not. It's probably gonna be fine. At worst, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
It could be really good.
Yeah, exactly.
Avowed, probably no one. This is again another one, but I'm excited. It's like an RPG by the people who did Outer Worlds and one of the Star Wars KOTOR games. Oh, Dave, they did 2. You played 2, right?
KOTOR?
Yeah, 2.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So the same people who did that game, they're doing this game.
Well, I hope
it's medieval though, so you're not gonna like it. So I'm sorry for wasting your time.
Whoops.
Dragon's Dogma 2. People love it. I don't even know what the gameplay is. And then, Chris, do you have anything to say about Like a Dragon?
No.
Okay.
I have played the first 3 Yakuzas. They are certainly fun for what they are. They're too long for me. Like the fighting stuff is really fun. It can be brutal at times. It's goofy. It's funny in the right moments. Like I get why people love them. I've never really gotten on board with it. I'm sorry, everybody.
Metal Gear Solid remake, the 3 remake. We'll see if that's any good at all. We'll see if they can recapture the magic now that Kojima is not there anymore. And I am a skeptic, but we'll see. And that's Wolf Among Us 2. I'm so over Telltale Games style of game, but I might just have to suffer through it because I really liked the first one.
But Telltale is doing a series on that one show you were watching with the Eclipse or
Expanse.
Expanse, that's the one.
I know.
Telltale, huh?
I can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. That's all I had for games.
Things that you missed, just because you had a few that only you cared about. Here's a few only I care about. Final Fantasy XIV is the Dawn Trail expansion this year. That drops in May. It's going to be, I think, a welcome break, but it'll be interesting to see how exciting it still is. They basically wrapped up a 10-year arc with Endwalker, so now it's like, okay, what's next? They apparently are at the halfway point of the story, so we'll see what new and exciting stuff comes up there. Trails Through Daybreak is the next Trails game. It's the next mainline one, so they're going to a whole new area with a brand new set of characters and a new region and a new story. So I'm a lot more excited about that than I am some of these in-between games or remakes and stuff. That one I definitely will play on release. Freedom Planet 2 is coming out finally. It's been out, I think, on other platforms, but it's hitting everything that's not PC this year. And if you didn't play Freedom Planet, you slept on a very, very good Sonic the Hedgehog clone. Like, the gameplay is really just like the first 3 Sonic games.
Yeah.
Has 2-player co-op, and this game is supposed to be just better in every way. So, especially the story from what I've heard. So I'm excited for that because it's not the best game I've ever played, but I had a lot of fun playing the first one, and I'm excited to get my hands on the second. It's a perfect Switch game. And there's a Shantae game coming out, which is at least interesting because it was originally supposed to come out like 20 years ago, and then it got abandoned in development, and then WayForward decided, we're just going to bring that back this year with some updated stuff because it's not 20 years ago anymore.
So it's like Metroid Dread.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, the comparison's not too far off. So we get a new Shantae game, even though I'm not sure I'm going to love it. Didn't really love Seven Sirens either, but there's a couple of those games I like a ton. So we'll see.
Nice. Dave, now is your turn to go over any games we missed.
Okay.
Well, you called out, Princess Peach Showtime, and that was really my game of the year.
Great.
Yeah.
I hope you play at least 3 games this year.
Sean, you did forget.
You know what? Last year was a glitch in the Matrix, really.
A benchmark year.
Yeah, really. It was 3 was a lot. So there's a game called Taxi Cab Simulator. I am looking to make my side hustle for the taxi cab.
I am surprised that Alan Wake 2 didn't just invent a delay to release in 2024. They would have been Game of the Year of 2024.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Now that we're kind of done with the games conversation, I'm sure there's going to be a game like Alan Wake 2 that was not on my radar whatsoever, and it's just going to show up and be like, oh, this is amazing. But
even Baldur's Gate 3, I was aware of.
Yeah.
I knew the series, but I wasn't really planning to play it. But then, in September it drops and I go, oh shit, and it's my game of the year. So,
Dave, weren't we talking about Taxi Cab Side Hustle? Is that a thing?
There's a game that's called Taxi Cab Simulator coming.
Oh, okay.
And-
God, I was like, damn.
No.
I feel bad for making fun of you all the time.
Steve, you're rich now. You don't know how the common man are anymore.
Sean, you specifically forgot the return of NCAA football from
Yeah, I
EA
don't
Sports.
give
I don't
a
understand.
shit.
I don't understand why you'd forget that
But
really
Oh, I
massive
forgot
thing.
2K24 too.
No,
or
see,
25 or
you make a
whatever.
joke, but because you don't actually know the history of the NCAA football video game,
It's like a big deal.
it's a big
Is that
fucking
actually
deal.
officially
If you want to,
happening?
like, again, it's not like it's gonna be game of the year or anything like that, but that thing is gonna fucking sell millions of copies
Are we
because
gonna
it hasn't
play it for the
existed.
channel?
We should because it's a better version of football.
That would be fun. That would be more fun
Madden.
for me than Madden. Maybe we put off. We were thinking about playing Madden next for all the viewers out there. We've been doing it 2K. We're in the playoffs right now. We talked about Madden next, but NCAA would just be better.
If you make me the quarterback, I'll...
If you had read the
This would be
fucking
such a
document,
disaster.
I would have specifically said Sean
God.
can be the
That's what
quarterback.
I thought the document was just the next game, and I was like, oh,
Point-
whatever you guys want. I
Point
don't care.
being, for the people, the half of a person that gives a shit about this, the engine and mechanics of college football is a lot more fun than the Madden one, and it was for years. They had to get rid of it because of licensing things and the lawsuits and all that. So they got rid of the game. But the play calling of college football is more fun. There's more option plays, pitches, crazy shit. It's just a better experience than playing Madden, which has also gotten really stale over the year.
How about
the
NFL
years.
Blitz? Where's NFL Blitz?
That also can't be done anymore because the NFL got really upset
know,
about
yeah.
the
Stupid.
things that happened.
Concussions.
Oh, yeah, NFL
Did
Blitz.
you ever play the unlicensed Blitz
No,
game?
I heard it was
where you put steroids into yourself and you broke your leg and it mended on the
Sounds
sideline?
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was,
NBA Showtime. NBA Jam.
It was
Where?
only- It was the only M-rated sports game I think ever.
Did you play it, Dave?
So- oh, it did. It was
Okay, good.
insane. It was just like I almost felt bad to a point where I'm just like, oh, this guy broke his leg. Well, shoot him up with painkillers and send it back.
The
out
number
there.
one best example of how fucked up this game was is they made a quarterback named Ron Mexico, which was Michael Vick's fake name to get herpes medication,
Mm-hmm.
and they named one of the quarterbacks that. And in the sequel game, that quarterback went to jail just like Michael Vick did.
Was it for the same reason?
I think it was. For
Oh my God,
dogfighting.
that's wow.
Yeah, it
They built it-
wasn't subtle.
They built it into the game. Anyway, that's a long tangent, but NCAA football comes out during the summer. It sounds like it's going to have just about every team and resemble pretty much the older games. I'm fascinated by what the engine mechanics are because if they just dupe Madden over to it, it's going to fucking suck and they're going to piss everybody off. They can't fuck this game up because the people who are excited, like, it's generations of people that are excited to play this.
Yeah.
Again, I know it's not your type of thing, Sean, but it's a big deal.
I'll play a good sports game.
No, I remember. I mean, I had NCAA football 2008 or 2009. I had so much fun with because it was one of the first games that they'll play online. I had an online league I played with a bunch of people. One of my best gaming moments in history was I beat somebody else online on a last-second field goal, and my hands were like shaking as I'm trying to kick the field goal. Like it was intense. And you're right, Cody. Like the experience of the college football video game was so much better than Madden in every single way. I tried getting into Madden and never ever could, but the college football game, I will tell you, scouting for the draft in Madden and a dynasty league is so boring in comparison to try to recruit players
Exactly.
and try to snatch players out from Alabama. It was so much
Exactly.
fun.
We in high school, because just about the same time, 07 or 08 game, we mapped in our entire high school football team, helped try to build our logo, built our jerseys, and created an entire team of all of us into our game. And then just created two versions of ourselves for playing both ways. So we built our own fucking high school and imported it into Dynasty. So we just played a Dynasty mode with our high school.
See, I want that, but I want a sim high school too. Like you like go to tests and stuff, and like you go to prom, and then you're getting recruited.
I'm curious to see if this is going to be in there because they did have a couple versions of the college football game in the past where they would have where like you'd go to class and you'd actually get certain like intelligence
love
points
it.
for passing tests.
Yeah,
and
there was
like
some stuff
that.
built into
Actually love
the run for the race for the Heisman or whatever the mode was called.
Mm-hmm.
And you did similar shit to that, and they actually built that high school experience into Madden when they were trying some Madden storyline things. It was the best part of that weird single player story mode that they did was when you went back to high school and played on a fucking high school field. It was cool.
I want to go. You go to class, you go home, your parents give you the birds and the bees talk. That's to me,
So
that'd be really fun. You're looking at the
You
only
say you
person who
want
played
that.
quarterback club, by the way. That's me.
I also played that. It's on N64.
I'm the only one quarterback.
Brett
I
Favre
played the
was on the
quarterback
cover of that
club on
shit,
the
right?
fucking Game Boy. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I know. That's probably the only football game. Madden and Blitz. Anyways, movie time. Enough of boring college football.
You think I wasn't going to throw that in there? You were
Yeah.
wrong.
Cody, I'm starting with maybe what might be the worst movie of the year, and that's Madam Web. And I feel really bad because all women ensemble, all the women like Spider-Man should be cool. And if you saw the trailer, you're like, ouch, this is going to be really bad.
I have not watched the trailer because I don't have any interest in the movie.
It's terrible.
Because I don't care about the premise. I don't care about any of it. I don't care about the characters.
They changed the character completely.
Okay,
they don't show up in costumes the whole movie. They changed the power. It's just weird. I don't understand what they're doing.
I don't, and
Making
as
money.
bad as it is, and maybe this is a me thing, maybe people can get over this. Seeing Dakota Johnson as Madam Web, it's like, oh, you mean the girl from 50 Shades of Grey?
Also true.
This is weird.
Well, I know, and you're a huge 50
fair.
Grades of Shade.
50 Grades of
Shade
Shade,
of
man.
Shade.
Come on.
That's the fan fiction.
I mean, it's not fair, but it exists, right?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
I mean, and in seeing Madam Web in the past, in different types of media, Madam Web was kind of an older type of like guru
Yeah, she's an
type
old
of
lady.
thing. Yeah, exactly. Seeing a young woman as far as that doesn't quite fit the mold of what you expect.
I don't even care about like that part necessarily. Although you're right, it's different. It's like they've changed everything about it. And they're not even showing him in costumes. I don't know what they're doing.
So the thing is, I have a list of people, actors and actresses, who I just can't stand. So I just don't watch their movies, even if I like the premise. There's an actress in that movie that bugs the shit out of me. And I probably wasn't going to see it anyways, but I'm really not going to see it because she's in it.
Who?
It's Sydney Sweeney.
No,
I can't stand
she's
Sydney
great.
Sweeney. I
She's
can't
so
stand her. I can't stand her.
She's so nice.
She is not a good actress. She's not entertaining
She
to
wasn't
watch.
good at. She was in before Euphoria. She was in A Handmaid's Tale.
Sure,
And she
cool.
was
That's great. Sounds awesome.
Cody will come around on people over time. You just have to leave him alone.
No,
and let
I
him
still
figure
hate
it
multiple
out.
people, and I've hated him for a long time.
Well,
All
no,
right,
some
all
of them you never give up on, but some of them, like The Miz.
Yeah, it's fine, but he's
See,
not. An
I knew
actor, he's a
you. I
wrestler.
knew you like 9 years ago. When you're like, he sucks. He's the worst. He's overrated. Now you love that
But
guy.
see, Sean, I got through White Lotus, the first season, which, by the way, can't believe that show's as popular as it is. And she's
hated
unbearable.
her in that show.
Yeah, she's unbearable in that show.
Yeah,
And so I'm like, oh,
hated
well,
her.
that's bad first or second or whatever impression it is.
All right.
Sometimes
Well, we're all
that's
gonna
all it
hate Madam
takes.
Web for different reasons.
We will.
Then. Dude.
The jury's still out on flying cars.
Dune Part 2. Come on, it was cool. Although in the trailer, Cody, they do the worm riding, which is in the books,
Oh, cool.
and you say cool. I don't know. In a book, it works.
Did you not understand the sarcasm of "oh, cool"?
Okay. Yeah, I'm unconvinced.
Is this like when Sandy rides the worm in SpongeBob? Is that the same thing?
I don't know. Sandy rides. Does she use grappling hooks to pull on the fucking worm?
I don't
Ride
think
it like
so.
a horse? Like a
She does ride
jet
it like
ski?
a horse, though.
well, okay, maybe then. Dune Part 2 should be cool.
No.
Let's see. Spaceman, Adam Sandler, serious role. You like Adam Sandler? All right, moving on. Kung Fu Panda 4.
Do you think I would enjoy that movie at all? Speaking of actors I hate-
You don't like. I knew that,
Yeah, he
but
doesn't like Jack Black.
I like Kung Fu Panda 1 and 3.
So you're due to hate this one then.
Well, no,
you're not
2
doing
is
it. You're not doing it with even
It
numbers.
looks pretty funny. I laughed in the trailers. It's usually a good sign. Okay, no one does. The Quiet Room. No one cares about Kung Fu Panda.
I have only
4.
2 movies I care about this year. It's gonna be my worst year ever.
Ghostbusters. Don't care. And I love Paul Rudd, and I don't care at all.
Did you
Can we
enjoy the reboot with
It was
him?
fine. It was fine.
Can we let Ghostbusters rest for a bit?
Yeah.
No, we can't because we gotta get all the people from the original in before they die.
Before they die. Exactly the point.
But,
I
I mean,
was
like,
gonna
that's
make, yeah.
absolutely why they're doing it.
And
I think you're
they're
probably
pretty
right. But by the way, we're also getting close to that point with Spider-Man.
Oh, we are past that point with Spider-Man.
Well, I think so, but it's a testament to how good the Holland movies have been overall that it hasn't already happened. But we're very, very close to that point. Like, we got to take 5 years off of Spider-Man. We just got to.
Oh, I thought you were saying a bunch of people are gonna die in Spider-Man.
Yes.
And I was like, Willem Dafoe. He's
I don't know
like
if you've
not
noticed,
that
but they
old.
called the last movie No Way Home. So,
Yeah. Godzilla vs Kong. I don't care. I heard Godzilla -1 was like really, really good, but
This one that just came out, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Godzilla vs Kong. I just don't give a shit. Apparently, there's another bigger monkey in this one.
Super
Mm.
Kong.
Mega
Godzilla
Kong.
is pink, and Kong has a robot arm now. So
Well, who gave him a robot arm?
I don't fucking know.
I mean,
don't
I'm
remember.
intrigued by who
I-
gave him a robot arm.
I don't remember his arm getting cut off in the first one, so this is
Well,
all
he
very
had some
strange.
shit go down in the time between that.
I guess maybe there's a fucking prequel movie. Love Lies Bleeding.
Thank you. Finally,
Yeah, we talked about this already, so we probably don't need to talk about it. Or maybe it wasn't on the show.
We didn't talk about it on the show.
Yeah, it looks really weird, but kind of very stylish. It reminded me of like Baby Driver in terms of like very style driven.
Yeah,
I'm sure
and
the
see,
content's going to be very
And I
different.
got Drive vibes from the weird criminal underworld getting involved type of involved
very
type of
much
thing.
so. Yeah.
Just with a female lead to it.
And this chick is buff. Holy shit. So there's that too. But then she also like hulks out. We talked about that. But you think it's all in the head.
I still think I think it's going to be all in the head, and it's
All
just
right.
how Kirsten Stewart's character sees her or something
Okay.
like that.
Okay. Rebel Moon Part 2. Just kidding. We're not going to talk about it. That's trash. Civil War.
So did you watch trailer 4 yet?
Yeah, I think
I love the idea of California and Texas being aligned. That's just fascinating to me. If you're going to make a Civil War movie and then not actually make it accurate to like portraying what a Civil War would look like in this country, I think you just make it bizarre and then you make Ron Swanson the fucking president.
Yeah,
Why
you make
not?
him the president, and then it's Jesse Plemons and Kristen Dunst was like the most unlikely pair in history of Hollywood. Like, I don't get it.
I feel like this is just like reaching out to all of the world is fucked doomers. It's basically porn for them, where it's like,
It's
oh my
fear-monger
God,
porn, yes.
a realistic Civil War movie. Yay!
Here's the thing. So
I read
a book in high school that was about a modern day Civil War between basically Republican conservative type thing. I believe it's called Empire, if I remember right. And I'm like, you could have just made a fucking movie about that. As adapted this book that was built together rather than make this nonsense thing. But we're not supposed to take this movie seriously. It's supposed to probably be unintentionally funny. So I'm probably going to laugh at it because it's going to be unintentionally funny. Especially when
like,
Nick Offerman gets assassinated because he's going to get assassinated.
It reminds me of like Men a little bit, Dave, which is like it's a big allegory for the patriarchy, and parts very serious and scary, and then it's also hilarious and way over the top. There's a scene where this like guy is going through all the men are played by the same guy, but like in the realm of the movie, they're all different. And he like gives birth, I think 6 different times. And at first you're like, what's happening? And then you're like, oh, why are they still doing it? This is like the 4th birth. And then it kind of circles back around like the Family Guy bits. And you're like, oh, this is kind of weird again. It's just birth over and over again. And one time he gives birth out of like his mouth. And
what
it's
the
like,
fuck movie is this?
It's called Men. I'm not making it up. It's called Men.
I think Sean wrote a movie in his mind and watched it in his head over
No,
and over again.
it's very weird. Okay, anyways, Challengers. I think this movie looks like trash.
I don't know what this is.
Okay,
I
moving
don't know.
on. The Fall Guy. Ryan Gosling.
Oscar nominated Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm interested in that movie.
Okay. It reminds me of like the Nick Cage movie, Unbearable Talent, like in a
Which
way
was
where
good.
it's like, yeah, it was really good. But you have like a real
Yes.
world, but in an action setting. It could be
Yes.
cool. Furiosa. Is anyone else interested? This
Yes.
is cool. This is a cool one,
Yes.
actually, finally, because I love Anya Taylor-Joy, and I liked Mad Max a lot. I think you would like Mad Max, Dave, for all the movies you don't watch. I think you would actually like.
The one that they put out 8 years ago now, however old
Oh my
Fury
God.
Road is, I
Was
guess.
it really?
I think it's really that close.
Holy shit.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
Is it true? I mean, it's an excellent movie, and so if they're going to keep building off of it, going backward in their timeline to do a prequel of it is exactly what they should have done. So I absolutely am excited to see that. Almost everyone I know really is.
Yeah. It's gonna be really good. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I've said that really fast. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm never excited for these movies. I think they always look stupid, and they're always really good. So I'm trying to like learn my lesson and be like, okay. Dave, you're giving me a face. They're good. The first one was the worst one, but it was fine. But then the second and third ones are really the third one especially was great.
How do I get a King Kong Planet of the Apes mashup movie? That's what I want.
I don't know.
How do I get that? Who can make that for me?
And pitch it. I don't
I
know.
want the apes to fight the big ape.
This is the son of Caesar, I think, from the trailer.
Caesar, is it Caesar Jr.?
I think so.
He just had one kid. He only won one kid.
I don't know. I just saw the trailer, just like you.
I haven't seen the trailer.
Oh,
I just want to be
even worse.
difficult.
All right. So If looks bad, doesn't look funny. I really like Ryan Reynolds. This movie looks like it has no soul. Maybe they're saving all the funny parts for the actual movie because the trailer was flat as hell.
I haven't seen this trailer yet either.
Moving on. Garfield movie. Everyone's most excited movie.
Very excited for more voices from Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Nicholas Hoult is John, which is weird. Samuel Jackson. Listen
Is
to this
Odie?
line.
Oh shit!
No. as Garfield's estranged dad, Vic. Is that a thing? Does Garfield have a dad?
Yes.
Now,
Oh.
I mean, they do now.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't-
it's Samuel L. Jackson.
I'm sorry, making him
Has a
Odie would have
mom,
been way
too.
fucking funnier.
Who is Odie, actually? There's no...
It's the yellow dog, right?
I know who Odie... I'm saying who voices him.
I don't know. You were on your fucking phone. Look it up.
Probably also Chris Pratt.
I'm curious.
Ballerina. Anna de Armas as a John Wick assassin.
Oh, is it the spinoff of the Wick universe thing?
And I guess Keanu Reeves is going to show up, and Ian McShane, and Lance Reddick, and he's dead, and he's still going to show up for this movie. So
better be good.
it better be good. I think it'll be good. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Inside Out 2.
Hey!
Hey, Dave! Oh my God, it's a movie you can talk about.
What? This is coming out? I'm being difficult.
Yeah, I mean it would apply it because I said it.
It's I don't know. I liked Inside Out. I'm always for the longest time I was the guy who would be like, I'll give Pixar the benefit of the doubt. If it's coming out from Pixar, I'm in. I'll be fine with it.
Not
It had some
anymore.
clunkers, so I don't know that I can go that way.
I really didn't want them to touch this movie, so I'll probably watch this because Inside Out's probably one of my top 3 favorite Pixar movies. I really didn't want them to add with this.
I didn't even
And
love the first one.
And I'm really pissed that they recast the voice of 2 of the fucking emotions anyways, because Pixar was being cheap and was not paying Mindy Kaling and Bill Hader money, and Amy Poehler got a fat check for this thing, and they got shafted, so they bailed out. And I'm like, it's kind of a cash grab of a movie, honestly.
But Mindy Kaling kind of sucks.
Sure, she kind of sucks.
Counterpoint.
But didn't Dave already explain you can't say someone sucks
Right.
and then say when they get treated unfairly, it's okay.
And Bill Hader doesn't suck, so that doesn't work.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Thank you, Dave, for saying that.
That's one of the only 2 movies on my list for the year. I'm not super excited about it, but I'll see it because I really like the first
The guy
one.
who
and
plays Guillermo from What We Do in the Shadows.
if nothing else, anxiety makes
That's
sense.
actually not a bad casting.
Yeah. No, I'm actually excited. I think the trailer was really good, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can see like where it could go in a sequel, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean,
Yeah.
it made sense. She ages up. There's more emotions. There's more things on the desk. The idea is there. It's solid.
Yeah.
I get it.
Quiet Place, day
Yeah.
one.
What the fuck?
It's-
Who is Cillian Murphy in this?
Wait, what? No,
Was it in the sequel one? Wasn't Cillian Murphy in A Quiet Place? He was in the second one. They like ran into him, right?
Yeah, wasn't he like a bad guy or something though?
He was
Or
a
he
fucking bad
I
guy.
don't
He helped
remember.
save her
Oh,
again.
I don't remember that.
I was just curious if the prequel includes his side of the story.
No, I don't think so.
I don't
It's starring Lupita Nyong'o.
I don't care.
Stranger Things, Joseph Quinn. I don't know who that is. I've seen that. Oh, the guy. He's in Black Diamond. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy. Jimon Hansu. I don't want to say his name. I like him in everything he's in.
You're
so,
still just saying shit. I don't know.
and it's by the Pig director. You like Pig?
The fuck?
Moving on. Twisters, the sequel to Twister, and you can tell it's a sequel
Wait,
because there's now an S.
You mean when they killed off the original pairing of people and cast?
Yeah, it's a sequel
I'm pretty
to.
sure, Sean. I'm pretty sure we're looking at the same list, and you skipped Despicable Me 4, so I'm a little disappointed.
I did skip Despicable Me 4 because who gives a fuck?
Sean, you still haven't gotten to another movie that I have on my
Well,
list.
I'm not done yet, am I? Twisters.
Well, it's 9:00, so you better fucking
okay,
hurry.
I'm wrapping
we don't have
up.
time for
That-
Despicable Me 4, and Dave. We have to talk about other movies that are going to be seen by hundreds million less people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Deadpool.
Dave, come
Deadpool
on.
3.
Yeah, that's like my last gasp for Marvel.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I
I don't even love
the.
the Deadpool movies. I just want to make sure they didn't fuck up Deadpool for everyone who loves it.
I think it's the only Marvel movie next year.
That's
I'm
probably-
almost positive, so that's pretty cool.
That's probably
so.
not
A
right.
new movie by M. Night Shyamalan
That's
called
probably
Trap.
not right because I'm pretty sure Captain America: New World Order comes out. So
Nope,
you're.
I think you're wrong.
I think you're wrong.
We'll find out soon.
Fight to
But
death. Civil War.
if you had to trust who was right on Marvel movies, me or
Probably
you,
you, but I think
Yeah,
you're wrong.
I would agree with that. Okay. Borderlands, Kate Blanchett.
I'm interested. I'm interested.
You're interested?
because
You're interested in Borderlands?
I mean, the game has its perks to it.
I didn't even know you played Borderlands. This is all news to me.
Damn, you're right.
Well,
It is gonna be on next
Sorry,
week.
Sean, you don't know every aspect of my entire life.
Well, I'm trying to, and you make it hard when you throw curveballs like this.
If you're excited for Borderlands, you should probably just watch Mad Max.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's true.
That's an
Also,
excellent point.
Cody, you won't like it because Jack Black's in it. Borderlands.
Yeah, that's true. I won't like anything.
And
he
Jamie Lee Curtis, though. She's good.
This is going to be its own episode, but I think we need to explore Cody's hatred of Jack Black.
Yeah, we will.
I look
we will
like
later.
him,
We're
and
out of time.
I've been told I look like him for the past fucking 18 years of my life.
You don't look like Jack Black.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jack
No.
Black's better looking than you.
And there's an Alien movie. I don't care. Kraven the Hunter, also in the running for maybe worst movie of the year.
Still haven't gotten to the movie. I haven't.
Beetlejuice 2, Saw 11. I'm like Joker, Folie à Deux, which is cool, actually a name, but it sounds really stupid.
Another person playing Harley Quinn, which I don't think we really need, by the way.
Yeah, Lady Gaga.
I don't think Lady Gaga needs to play.
And in the preview, he's shaving.
Cool. I'm excited for the
concept.
discourse of that movie on online for a couple months. That's gonna be great.
We live in a society.
Smile 2? Nope. Now you guys are
Smile harder. Is that
Smile harder. It's smile with a vengeance.
Smilier.
Paddington in Peru. This is the only other movie I have.
You did not name the other movie.
No. Wait. No, there's a couple more. Sorry, Paddington in Peru.
I have two.
Well, Paddington's like at 100% and like 99%.
It's like the best
movies
I've
right?
never seen.
Okay.
Yeah. Venom 3. Don't give a fuck. Okay, Gladiator 2. Did we talk about Gladiator?
Yeah, you made fun of Gladiator 2 to me already.
Dave, Gladiator 2, the original pitch for Gladiator 2 was Russell Crowe comes back from the dead. You're like, how do you make a Gladiator 2? Comes back from the dead, and then he fights in every like major war throughout history.
Which, by the way, I mean, it's not.
You're like,
it's not
what?
It's not a one-for-one trade up, but I'm like, isn't that what happens in Assassin's Creed? Like, you just go through different versions
kind
of
of
shit.
But also, like, tonally, that's like so fucking.
Yes.
That's like a Passion of the Christ 2, but like if Jesus comes back and he's in space and like. It's like The Martian. And you're like, cool, that could be a good movie.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do with the first one.
I love the idea of Passion of the Christ too.
As adept as a fighter as he is, what's he going to do in the Revolutionary War when there's guns?
Yeah, no, to be fair, I don't know what they're doing with this one. That might not be, I hope it's not the same. And it's
Fingers
Pedro
crossed.
Pascal, so it's not Russell Crowe anymore. So I don't fucking know, but
Pedro's starting to get to be a sellout. I just gotta say that.
I still have to say, what is Gladiator 2? Wicked? Was Wicked the one you were?
No.
Lord of the Rings, The War of Roar.
Absolutely
not. The Karate Kid. That's
Maybe.
it.
No.
Even
Maybe.
Chris, you're like maybe, right?
Because Ralph Macchio's in it. So
Yeah.
if it's going to combine this universe with Cobra Kai, then maybe. And if
Oh,
it's some other
that's actually
standalone
useful.
thing, then fuck no.
Yeah. Sonic Hedgehog 3.
I'm
I
in.
mean, I'm excited for that.
That's
I'm
number
in.
2.
I'm getting there.
I mean, I'm excited for
I
that.
actually like the Sonic the Hedgehog movie series. I never thought I would, and
I
actually
know.
like it.
I like.
Have we?
I've enjoyed all of them.
Do we know if Jim Carrey is gonna come
He's
back
not.
from the dead?
No.
He's
not.
gone.
Okay.
That's my biggest concern, is that he carries a lot of the weight for the first two because he's just such a compelling
Yeah, that's
version of
kind of
Dr.
a
Robotnik. But
But
there's a good cast around it now that they've built up over the two movies, so I think it'll still work, but I'm a little hesitant.
Yep.
I
Do we know
feel,
who's voicing Shadow?
I
thought that
no.
was
You,
announced at some
have to
point,
nail
but-
that because Idris Elba's fucking hilarious as Knuckles.
Yeah.
So
You kind of close, yeah.
yes, Knuckles.
And then Mufasa, The Lion King. Dave, it's what you always wanted. It's a prequel to The Lion King.
Yeah.
I didn't get to comment on Sonic that the best thing, if Jim Carrey really does retire, his last words on film is "later haters." So I'm appreciative of that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Long storied career comes to an end.
Mickey 17, Cody, after
Yes.
Mufasa, is date unknown. That's why it's in the back.
Yep.
Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. Fine. It just sounds like a Kingdom Hearts title at that point.
Needs a fraction.
Havoc with Tom Hardy is a cop, I guess, action movie, but it's by the guys who did the Raid, so that's pretty cool. Unfrosted, the Pop-Tart story.
Is it because we did the Hot Cheetos movie, so we made a Pop Tarts movie now?
No, it's because of the bowl game where the mascot went crazy and people went,
And they
oh
ate
shit.
the mascot.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And then I think we're out of time. We didn't even get to TV.
Well, you didn't name the other movie I'm excited
Well,
for.
okay, what's the other fucking movie?
It's called Drive Away Dolls. It's Ethan Cohen's solo directorial debut
I've heard of that. I don't know why it wasn't on this list.
because you're bad at researching things. And it comes out in February, so I knew you fucked up pretty quickly as you were doing
that's
them.
fair,
in
yeah.
Yeah, Jack
chronological
Black's got
order.
a point there.
It's a night. I mean, again, I'm a sucker for movies where people are driving across on a road trip type thing, and you sit them in the car, and then weird shit happens. And two girls rent a car, and there's a suitcase that was meant for like the mafia gang people, and then they chase after them to get the suitcase
So
back.
Fear and Loathing is Las Vegas is like your favorite movie then.
It used to be when I was younger.
Yeah.
I used to love the movie a lot.
That actually reminds me of Fear of Loathing meets like No Country for Old Men with like
It's
the
something.
briefcase
It's
and,
actually something kind of similar to that.
yeah.
It really is. And so again, it's how people feel about the Coen brothers, I think, varies quite a bit, but I like most of their stuff, and so I'm very interested about this movie.
Chris, what do we do for TV? I value your opinion, Cody. Sorry, I mean,
No, it's fine. You don't care.
I do want to talk. Because there are shows I want to talk about, but it's 9:06. Okay, we're just gonna do.
We're not gonna save it for another part, so get it out now or leave
True
it.
Detective.
You mean it's the one that's already on?
Jodie Foster. Yeah, but I mean it's 2024. House of Dragons season 2.
I think we should just let Sean yell things out. I think this is the best way to do this show.
Almost no one fucking cares about any of this shit. Dune Prophecy. It's a TV show, but 10,000 years before the book takes place. So
I'm really excited for an original idea that you're going to list off.
Have you ever thought of like if Alien, but like 10,000 years ago, and you're like, it's like a prehistoric, like what?
Cool. So you just made La Brea, but then you put like aliens in it. That sounds great. Let's put it on NBC.
Stupid. Stranger Things finally going to close. That's going to be cool. Avatar: Last Airbender live action. I didn't think the trailer looked that good.
I'm worried.
But also the creators quit.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for an original idea that isn't a sequel or a remake. I need something as a TV show.
Okay, what about this? The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live.
Yeah, fuck. All right, cool. Okay, we're still going the right direction. That was a comic and a show. That's cool.
We got Rick Grimes back.
I don't fucking care. Rick should be dead.
Yeah, but look how brooding he looks in this one.
Well, I mean, he should have like 18 zombie bites. So.
Yeah, they said it's an epic love story.
Is he going to have sex with a zombie? If he has sex with a zombie, I will watch the show.
I can't speak.
What about this, Cody? Original idea. What about this? Fallout, the TV show.
Yeah. What about this? The Walking Dead, but 10,000 years ago. Okay, Invincible Season 2, Part 2. I guess it counts.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean,
that's the exact opposite of what you're talking about, Cody. It not only it's part 2 of another.
It's a sequel to a second season.
Yeah,
basically.
That's really bad. Fallout was on my list. It's right here.
Fallout trailer was pretty good.
The thing is, Fallout cast somebody very good in that show. So
yeah,
they did. Who? The girl. Is it you're talking about the girl?
No.
Oh.
I'm not mistaken, Chris. And who I'm talking about,
Walton Goggins is in it too.
Yes, that's who I'm talking about.
I was talking about Ella Purcell. She's the girl in Yellow Jackets.
I haven't watched that yet. That's actually literally next on my list.
I was about to spoil her entire character arc, so I will not do that.
Because you know what Yellow Jackets is? Kind of an original idea. It's crazy.
It is. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like rip off of Lost a little bit. But
I said kinda.
Okay. Star Trek Discovery Season 5. I only put this in for Dave, and I don't even know if okay. Nope.
He doesn't care. Shake his head.
Moving on. Arcane Season 2. Big deal. Chris, you maybe watched this? Season 1, maybe?
You need a cricket sound effect
all
when
right.
Sean says something and no one fucking responds.
Would have played the entire episode.
I'm kind of just out of TV at this point. So
Agatha, Darkhold Diaries, rather than
it's at least a better title.
Coven of Chaos.
But maybe we don't have a fucking entire show devoted to this character in the first place.
Aubrey Plaza's in this, right? As a witch.
They were like, if you don't put alliteration in your title, we don't fucking want it. I don't know if she's in it.
I think
Jason's excited about
Arcane,
Arcane, by the way.
Okay. Catherine Hahn is in it.
Well, duh.
The Penguin.
Oh, shit. Like 3% of an original idea. I am excited for this because he played the Penguin really good.
Yeah, and it's Colin Farrell.
And I think I'm one of the few people around that really, really, really liked Robert Pattinson's Batman movie, so I'm going to watch it. I really
liked it. I don't know about 3 release, but I
really
liked
it.
And Colin Farrell, who would have thought maybe like 20 years ago that if Colin Farrell headlining your thing, you're like, oh, it's going to be great acting. Because he was like in SWAT, and it was like
I feel like breaking down his career would be really fascinating because there's a switch there where it's like, oh fuck, he's actually really good. Because I did the same thing. I'm like, he used to be entertaining, but mostly mediocre, and now he's mostly great in everything.
In 15 years, we've had a renaissance for him. We've had a renaissance for McConaughey. We've had one for Ryan Reynolds. Like a few actors have come a long way.
That might be a fun idea for a show.
It's so funny. You described a thing we should bring back because we used to have it.
And then who fell off? Mel Gibson.
Well, and then what's funny, Matthew McConaughey, like he had like the rise and fall and rise and then kind of fall again.
And then Lincoln,
a little bit.
Lincoln steadily, always Lincolning.
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser's a really good one.
That is a really. We need to bring this segment back just for Cody because I think it would be really good. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight. Did you read this book? No, you didn't read it. You didn't read any of the books.
I don't read anything.
All right. Well, it's a Game of Thrones thing. It's gonna be really good.
I'm not gonna read that.
Let's see. Star Wars Acolyte. Cool. Also, kind of like 10,000 years ago, but no, it's not that far. But it's in the High Republic. Stevie show.
I'm gonna watch it. Yes.
Okay, great. Daredevil. We'll see. I hope it's good. They redid the whole thing. Now all the Netflix shows are canon. They redid it so much.
How can you redo it if you made something canon?
This is like a sequel to the Netflix ones now.
So what you're saying is Marvel doesn't know what the fuck it's doing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because now Marcel Ali is Cottonmouth and Blade.
Yeah. Which I referenced last week when I'm like,
Oh,
how
you
the
did?
fuck are we?
Okay.
Well, after the show, I was like, how the fuck are we going to do that?
Yeah, I have no
Well,
memory.
we already had the
Okay,
problem with
so,
Chris Evans, who just pretended it didn't happen.
Yeah. Rings of Power season 2. No one cares because the first season was not very good. Bad Batch season 3. Asajj Ventress.
I'm the only person who's going to watch that.
Asajj Ventress. I might watch her episodes.
I'm the only person who's going to watch that.
I just said I might watch her episodes.
I
you're
just
ignoring me
said
right now.
I might watch a couple episodes.
Boys season 4. It's the last season, and thank God because the actress has just destroyed her face. Have you seen this? It's like plastic surgery. She was so pretty, and she got like way overborn plastic surgery. It doesn't even look like herself.
She has
anymore.
me really disappointed that she let you down.
I know.
She's gonna be really sad.
We haven't talked yet, but I know she's really sad. Squid Game season 2. I hope it's good. And then I put in the Bears season 3 just because it's gonna come out. I don't know why it wasn't listed, but
That's all you got?
and I had Has Been Hotel. Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay.
Well, no, explain the original idea, though.
The Has Been Hotel. It's A24. It's adult animation about like someone in hell who like rehabilitates people going into hell, and it's called the Has Been Hotel. There's a picture.
That sounds weird.
Okay.
Very
Anyways.
That seems a little weird, but
Cue the crickets. Harley Quinn season 5. I only put it on here for you.
Yeah, I will watch that
Okay.
because that animated series
I
is
like
very
your
good.
only contribution to this is I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
It's like what?
Well, I mean, we
Dave
just
has
we,
gone comatose.
we literally
He's
referenced
catatonic
in
over
the movies.
here.
I'm like, how many people are gonna fucking play Harley Quinn? At a certain point, we kind of are doing overkill with the character.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, and then a bunch of maybes. This is it. This is the last slide that I
maybe.
have in this PowerPoint.
Chicago Fire season
way-
whatever.
Yeah.
Chicago
Well,
PD
I'm
season
super care.
whatever.
All the procedurals that I really care a lot
NCIS
about.
Australia.
Yeah, exactly. Peacemaker season 2. Not announced, but like
I
it's coming.
actually am really curious about that because given he took over the entire company, where is that going to go? And are we actually going to get that? Because I'm still pessimistic that we're not going to get that.
I think
Because
we're
have you
gonna get
seen what John Cena looks like lately? He's not exactly filming Peacemaker anytime soon because he doesn't really look like he's in Peacemaker.
Well,
shape.
that could be a great Peacemaker season 2 if he's like washed up over the hill.
He looks fucking washed up and like a normal
Great.
human.
I think that sounds even better than what they would have done. Last of Us season 2 probably it could come out
That's
this year
coming out in
still.
2025.
Oh, okay. Welcome to Dairy. That's the it sounds like Dairy, like the farm, but that's not its fault. It being the clown. It's like a prequel show. No
Yeah,
one cares.
prequel. Sequels and prequels. The best thing.
Yeah, well, what do you want? Mandalorian season 4.
Judas.
Andor,
I'm probably
season
probably
2.
done with Mandalorian, honestly.
Andor
Yeah.
season 2, and probably gonna come out in 2024. Oh, and then Severance. Severance should be out like sometime.
Yes, finally.
Great show.
It's taken fucking way too long.
I took the whole time and because I almost forgot about it. It's probably the show I'm most excited for this whole season.
Yes, it would be. Assuming it's going to fucking come out.
Yeah.
Have they filmed it?
I don't think so. But you film it, you put it at the end of the year. I don't know. They had it like written in the writer's strike did affect it, so that gives me a little bit of hope.
That's right. Actually, you're right. I do remember that they was
Yeah.
pretty much actually ready to go.
So there we go. That's the I had a lot of fun actually with this preview.
Yeah, because you talk 97% of the time.
You know what? I invite you to say fucking anything. I gave you the floor every time.
The problem
No, I mean,
with-
this is good to know, Dave, because what this means is that now if you want to talk about like football and Sean doesn't care, you can go off for 35
yeah, except
minutes.
I will talk about it, although
Sean-
I'll probably divert it to NFL Blitz.
Sean, were
I have
any
so
of
many
those
issues right now.
shows you didn't reference in case it happens like Poker Face's senior season 2, which was really good on Peacock?
Never even heard of it. What were you gonna say?
It's from the person who made both Knives Out movies, and it's a fun murder mystery
Oh,
type show. It's
cool.
very good. If you haven't watched it on Peacock, you should watch it.
Cool.
Did anything you list off, is any of it like ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, like the basic televisions, or all of that shit streaming stuff?
I think it's all streaming. Now like Max, True Detective, it's coming out on like HBO or whatever
yes.
whatever the channel is called now.
It's still technically HBO, then it goes
Yeah.
to Max, yes.
ABC and all those. I don't think so. No, I didn't put in
Abbott Elementary.
which I've heard is really, really
It's very
good.
good,
I haven't seen the other season, so I didn't care.
And that wasn't like some critique. I'm just like, it's just curious of like,
Yeah, it's
that's where
interesting.
the shows that get like high. I mean, the problem is with the writer strike, I don't know what pilot season's gonna even look like for regular TV. It's probably a fucking disaster. of what they tried to turn around and get prepped for this coming fall. But it's just really interesting that everything you list off is all farmed out to whatever streaming services it is now. And that's what TV has basically become. And regular TV is, can we get sports rights and then maybe make some 18 different Chicago CSI?
And even then, while it's
shows.
not true sports, the WWE just announced today a contract with Netflix for 5, 10, or 20 years.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how much longer sports is going to be on traditional media at this point. It's a ticking time bomb.
Which I'm all for, actually, in a way, because I love when on Hulu the Suns games show up now. Only time I get to watch the Suns game.
Because it's built from ESPN Plus into
Yeah.
Hulu, and so it shows up.
But the flip side's true, and we foresaw this years ago, which is now the combination of every streaming service is basically like paying for cable again, or worse.
Yeah.
The only thing that gives me hope, though, is that so many of them are failing. So they're like teaming up, which is, I'm hoping a little bit better, because then it's not like 50 subscriptions you have to go to, but it still is like, your basic
There's so many.
6 to 10.
Yeah.
Which is still too many, and it is the same model.
To Chris's
again.
point, for the no one that cares about wrestling, it's really infuriating that now I have to have Netflix and I have to have Peacock to like watch the basics of wrestling. That's fucking agitating. And I have to have Hulu to probably get the ones that are on like CW as well. Like, so it's so it's getting pieced out everywhere. And I'm like, this is fucking agitating.
But like you probably have all those, right? But it's just the principle.
I don't, unless I steal them from other family members and people. I pay for 2 myself.
Because I'm with you still. Like,
also,
even if I had it, the Kingdom Hearts thing, I happen to have a PSP. It's still so annoying that an essential part of that saga is on a handheld over here and a handheld over there. And it's like, what are you guys doing?
I will say, good tip if you want Paramount Plus. Every other month, go and click the cancel button, and they'll give you a month for free.
God, you're just like the wise sage of how to
I go
off.
in and cancel shit, and then I make fake emails. Again, I pay $20 a year for Peacock, and I pay for every other month of Paramount Plus, because I go and threaten to cancel, or I find the deal for a year when it doesn't, and I make a different email and just start the account over again. So I try to minimize how much money I have to fucking pay for
One
this
day
shit.
they're going to call your bluff, and then they're going to ban you.
Well, you know what? Fucking HelloFresh hasn't for 3 years. And I have 37 different HelloFresh emails that I've now recycled back because they have an invitation to rejoin on every single fucking one of them.
That's true.
So until Gmail stops letting me make emails endlessly, I'm beating the fucking system.
See, Dave, Cody talked plenty this episode. Where's your commentary?
Oh, I'm sorry. I tried. The funniest thing you said the entire episode, Sean, was that you gave me the floor. You did that literally 2 times on things I didn't give a shit about. And then when I tried to talk, you're like, well, fuck on. I don't care about what you said. Moving on.
No, that's not true. I just assumed you wouldn't have anything to say.
David, any comment on Star Trek? No, fuck off. Okay, bye.
You got to do the Zoom thing where you raise your hand, and then I'll see it. And
If
be
you
like,
roll
Dave?
back the tape, you'll see so many times Dave tried to say something.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
You know what would help him?
stuff out
If
there.
Dave was sitting right here between us, he'd be
Yeah.
able to speak
Well, the thing
better.
is, if you weren't looking at your phone for a list, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have, but like normally you'd be seeing Dave, like you can see when he's looking to talk, and you're in your phone because you have a list of 75 PowerPoint slides. So you bowled him over whenever he did try to talk.
Dave should have been more assertive, and he could have had all the things to talk about.
Dave, one show. What's
Dave,
one show
I gave
you want
you
to
the
watch?
floor right now. You said nothing. This is what I'm dealing with. Look at this. I was quiet. Dave's like, I would prefer dead air for 10 seconds.
Let him
Sorry
gather his
if I-
fucking thoughts, okay?
Yeah,
All right,
I
Dave,
mean,
let's all take a moment of silence so Dave can gather his thoughts.
To be fair, I didn't write down what I was thinking of doing, of wanting to watch throughout this year. So I don't have a lot of them. So I was kind of relying on your list. But
All right,
so,
I got
sorry,
one
don't have
more.
anything off the top of my head.
Since all of
Well,
us
yeah,
like
but
game
like
shows.
Fallout. Do you care about Fallout?
I do. I'm actually intrigued by Fallout, and that was something that I didn't. I always like the story of Fallout. I always like the alternate universe that lives in. So I am intrigued and will want to watch that.
I think it's cool. Just the very last thing is that it's like telling a unique story in Fallout in like a new area, and not just like we're adapting one of the games.
Yeah,
So
that's
it could be very cool.
So,
Yes.
Since we all like game shows, watch The Floor. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh, I thought this was going to be a deal or no deal.
Deal or No
plug.
Deal Island. When it comes out, I will break that shit down for you.
Island?
Deal or No Deal Island.
Yeah,
we don't have time for it. I will break
yeah.
it down when we get to
Okay.
that point. Trust me.
I can't wait.
I am fucking fascinated by this show.
Can we put it on the list for vacation?
Yes, we probably should.
Okay.
That would be
great.
a good vacation show. It's really
but
stupid.
yes, that is very interesting. But The Floor on Fox, it's hosted by Rob Lowe.
It did look interesting.
It's a very interesting premise of eating up spaces and beating. The trivia is bullshit. You just look at a picture and you guess it, or look at a sentence and you guess it. It's fine. Everyone will kill it and beat everyone on that show easily. But the premise of being challenged in your expertise or whatever is a really fun prospect of doing the show. And the thing is told over the entire season, so every episode is part of the entire game because there's 81 squares. They have to eliminate 80 people for one champion, so it goes across the whole season. It's a new premise idea that I thought was pretty interesting.
It's pretty
Is
interesting.
the show where they like go against the like master of sports?
Each person basically picks their own topic that they want, which are fucking crazy ass categories. One person's got fast food, one person's got nepo babies as their category that is their expertise. You're in a square, the randomizer picks you pick one direction around you to challenge, and you challenge them in their category. If you lose to them, they inherit your category, and now they're fucked because they have to be an expert in whatever shit you challenge them with. If you beat them, you retain your category and keep challenging people. So the more you win, the more spaces you take up, and you're still defending. You would defend with your own expertise knowledge.
Yeah.
But it can get pretty wonky and hilarious because people are basically getting like, they win one, and then they challenge somebody else, and then they fucking lose, and then somebody else loses, and people are just getting eliminated like crazy. So the premise is interesting. The trivia is just crappy because it's very bare basics. Like, one was tools, and it was like, oh, that's a hammer. Oh, that's a screwdriver. Oh, that's a wrench. You just look at the fucking picture.
Dave would be a master of the fast food category, though. And
I haven't seen it yet because I don't know if it's gonna be like Chalupa, Big Mac, like McDonald's fries, whatever. So it's interesting enough, and it's a nice change of pace, I think, for game shows with the whole season-long idea.
What, Dave?
I appreciate your thought. I appreciate your thought that I would be the expert in fast food. That absolutely is Cody's realm, and I will cede the floor to him.
You're true. You're right. I'm so mean to Dave. I met Dave between shows, and we had such a pleasant, wonderful time together.
Yeah, something about this camera changes you.
I don't understand it. Maybe it's the microphone. Maybe it's not seeing me.
He's showing off because I'm here. He has to be mean to you.
No, it's like when Dave, when I gave him 20 seconds to say one fucking thing about a TV show, and he did it. And I'm like, well,
when the lights
I gotta
turn
fill
on,
the air, and now I'm angry. And
it was actually okay to let it pause. You can let it breathe for 1 second. The problem is you had just spoken for 417 consecutive minutes, and you didn't know what it was like to not.
Yeah, you get in a rhythm, and then it's like it's over.
And the problem is I don't dance for you like a puppet. So
not yet.
You're a puppet?
You will.
I don't dance for you like a puppet.
Oh, I heard the opposite, weirdly.
You did start this episode by complimenting his shoulder massages.
That's true. That's true. If you had more to say, maybe we would have gone along great, but it was dead air for 4 minutes. Couldn't do it anymore. All right, well, there's a preview. 2024.
2024. We'll see if this episode survives the rebranding for next year. Who knows? That's the end of the episode. Next week, we are finally not beholden to some of the usual conventions and things that we do. So who knows what it'll be. There is a game show ready. There is a Suns cast whenever we want to pull the trigger. Every week something new and interesting happens with the Suns and the rest of the NBA. Hell, just today, the Bucks fired their head coach and they're 30-13. So, like... There's all sorts of things we could talk about. There's headline stuff. There's a lot. So we'll see what next week brings. But as always, thank you for joining, especially if you're watching live on YouTube. Again, that's the best way to do it because you can interact. You can ask questions. We'll read comments. We appreciate everybody who tuned in. Of course, podcast is fine too. In between episodes, for now, until we rebrand, you can find us at our website, objectionnetwork.com or youtube.com/objectionnetwork. We will see you next time.